彼女も彼女バルスター No yes goes with 先好きですよで渚 confesses no way to say no バカ decision dates both at once 彼女もrolls out the front 先 soon fire 渚 kawaii heart read the streamer queen sticking in the dark out in chaos max jealousy on blast best wife awards who's the one standing last Hell Cachorro versus girlfriend 想看有着 one guy pulling madness descend Why do all the girls like this guy? One for showdown here the otaku ring Cachorro versus girlfriend Dropping confessions on this Watsuki thing Daijobu Subscribe for the madness
What's up, Cachorros? Welcome back to El Cachorro versus Anime. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've not been knocking these out as much as I hoped I would. This is supposed to have been the Valentine's Day episode that I am 2 weeks late on. Sorry. So my other Valentine's anime was Witch Watch, which has not gotten any views at all. So I guess that one did not have any fans. But this time we are finally getting one I've been wanting to do for a long time. I watched this a while back and just rewatched everything for this video. Is Girlfriend. Crazy sounding show about a man who dates multiple women. I like the weirder these things get, the better, the more I like them, you know. And this one goes 2 seasons. We're going to cover the first season in this episode. It never got a 3rd season. The manga has ended. I did read the manga, so because I wanted to see how it ended, so I might do that as a 3rd video. It's just a small recap of how where it ended up going. There's an okay ending. I kind of feel like they copped out a little bit, to be honest, but we'll cover that when we get to it. So this is an anime that did surprise me. So the first season is pretty much comedy gold. I mean, it's just ridiculous, outrageous stuff that is just it's insane. And then the second season kind of throws you a little curveball and actually gives you some good drama in it, which we'll cover that in the other video. So just go over some of our notable casting, especially for the Japanese version. So our main guy, Nayu Mukai, voiced by Junya Inuko. I'm sorry if I butcher this stuff. Then we have a reunion. We have a quintessential quintuplets reunion. And interesting enough, they are playing once again rival characters to each other. So our main female protagonist is Saki, voiced by Ayane Sakura, who we may know as our good friend Yotsuba. Still shouldn't have won. She still shouldn't have won, but we've already made that video. The other main girl is voiced by Azumi Waki. That is Nagasai Minase, which I've not seen anything else she's been in, so I don't know much better. But one of our female rivals is Rika Hushin. Yeah, I'm not even trying that. Who's voiced by Anye Takaratsu, who was the voice of Ninu. So we have Nino and Yotsuba button heads in this show again, as we'll go on to that. And then we have a 4th girl that is the slow burn character, which is Shimu Kiro, voiced by Ria Taganakashi. Now she did voice a side character in Witch Watch that we've already covered. She also voiced the main character in Romantic Killer, which was going to be another one I was going to cover for this month, but I didn't get to. It's the alternate harem where instead of one main character with a bunch of girls, it's the girl with a bunch of dudes. It's pretty. I relax. It's comedy. It's really good comedy. It's on Netflix, so I just watched it one time. So those are our main cast. We'll get that. So, dude, so this show is one I've seen a lot of people have hated on it. A lot of people, some people really thought it was a under watched classic. It was unfortunately this was one that kind of lost out because another anime with a similar like theme came out called Rent a Girlfriend, which kind of got all the attention that away from this one. So it did not get to have a wrap up final season, unfortunately. But I guess I've mentioned it that the manga has ended. But I totally, really love the show. This show was absolutely hilarity, and like I said, the second season threw me some surprises. So, is it worth watching? Definitely. It's also it's a pushy one. It's got a lot of fan service. This is definitely our first ecchi, if I'm pronouncing that right, show. A lot of interesting angles, a lot of sexual innuendos, and a lot of well covered up fan service, we'll say. Well placed objects for fan service in this one, which does intend that I will have to, be a little have to be a little careful with my picture cropping. But let's recap the season one for you. So for if you want to know my thoughts on the season one and how season one went, so let's cover that one out. So that's obviously the Japanese name, which is what's the Japanese name is Kanjo mo Kanjo. Once again, as long as I'm pronouncing it right. So it shows up. I mean, obviously, you see right here, right nice got a little girl bending over shot to start the show, so it kind of lets you know what you're in for. But we start off with our main character on a rooftop getting confessed to by a girl, which automatically triggers into a backstory where he tells us he has a high school girlfriend named Saki. That's I'm sorry for his name. That's Nayu Mukai, a very weird male character. He's at times, especially in the English dub, he comes off as Chad. I guess he's like really, yeah, girl, you're cute as hell, girl. As well as a pathetic loser at the same time. And this is a guy who pretty much confesses that he knows he's a pathetic loser. So he gives us his backstory that he's dating his childhood friend, Saki. It was a long courted relationship where it took her a long time to finally, give in to him. And they're super, then he's a super obsessed boyfriend. He's obsessed with her and that. And then he's hanging out on the roof, and another girl shows up and introduces herself. This is Nagase Minasa, who confesses her love to him. And talks about how she's done all this training and all this she's practiced her training and cooking just for this day where she would be ready to confess her love to him. And he initially, as the good guy he is, he does turn her down at first, saying that he has a girlfriend. To which she says, well, I kind of figured that probably was the truth, but that's okay. I'll just wait and I'll try again. So saying that she's not going to give up. She's going to, keep trying. Which wins him over right off the bat. Which just her level of enthusiasm wins her over. So he comes up with this plan of wanting her to go with him to meet his girlfriend. so he can, because he has the plan of dating both of them. So he takes her, and his girlfriend, when he introduces them, she finds her super duper cute and unbelievable, and like falling in love. I mean, best friendy kind of pet dog kind of way. He's falling in love with her, and she wants to go do all these activities. When we find out she's, she's not very good at stuff. She's not good at sports. She's not good at singing. And they end up, but she is good at cooking, so they end up on a bench, and she loves her food, and she, wow, I'd marry you. And that's when he says, well, it's a funny thing you mentioned that. So he brings up his plan about wanting to date both of them. She didn't take it very well at first. She is artisandra. She does like to, I guess, well, is she technically Sandra or Dandere? She likes to beat him up a lot. So I think that's a Dandere, actually. I'm still learning the terminology a little bit. So she's against it. She even says, "Why are you long ago?" And then she turns it on her, and she's like, "Well, if it's the only way, I'm open to it. If it's the only way, because I love him and stuff like that." So he begs them to both agree to it, and so Saki gets on board and agrees to it. So the next step for them is, of course, they need to move in with each other, because, hey, you know what? This high school students should just move in with each other, because parenting in Japan is very bad. So they all move into his house because he lives on his own, because his parents, I don't know where happened to his parents. There is a cut chapter from the manga about where his parents visited. And we'll talk about that in the manga when we do the manga as well, because that was a pretty hilarious chapter. So his goal is he's going to do everything he can to make them feel right, because he knows what he's doing to them. So he's putting all this responsibility on himself. And Minase is going to do all the cooking, and Saki's not good at chores, so they tell her to go relax and take a bath. And then Minase comes and joins her, and Minase's like, "Well, you know what? I mean, since you're his first girlfriend, I think you should be the one to sleep with him tonight." And Saki, that way we don't do that. Oh, well, I mean, you guys kissed, right? Saki, like, we haven't done that yet either. So we find out their relationship has not really gone very far. They've been kind of reserved. But then on the opposite, the object, the sex comes up, and that's when she kind of goes, "Wait a minute." So she goes out to confront him about it, and our boy, who has no inner, voice of conscience, that says, "Hey, maybe he just says whatever it comes up. He thinks of. He's honest to a fault." Goes, "Well, I guess the only real logical conclusion is we should just have a threesome." It's comedy gold. So that doesn't go over very well. And after some back and forth, he decides that until both girls are comfortable, he will not do anything sexual with either one of them. He will not put one ahead of the other. So thus they agreed to, I guess, to a threesome. That there's not going to be anything at all. So, which kind of we find out, and this is where we start getting a little bit about Saki. Saki knowing that she's kind of she's a little horn dog freak. So she's kind of like, so that, she agrees to it. Then she goes, "Wait a minute, like ever? Like we never?" Wait. So we find out that she's wanting, she's kind of been wanting, to take their relationship further, and so they decide to. They have 3 futons laid out together, and they're going to sleep together so they can have some friendly pillow talk, which means something different, I guess, in this storyline. So he's sleeping in the middle, and the 2 girls are on the side. And we get one funny part where Saki's pretending to be asleep while the other 2 are talking, and there's some voice talk about when they come closer, and so they're having this conversation, and Saki's not looking at him, so she just hears everything, and she just thinks that there's something sexual going on, to where she rolls over and rips off the covers to find that they're just holding hands and talking. So something, like I said, there's a lot of sexual innuendo jokes in this show, which is that leads to the great comedy. Uh, Minase likes to get up very early to start preparing her cooking because that's part of her thing is, she takes a long time working on everything. That's how she makes everything good. When she has all their lunches ready to go, she kind of wants to get to know them a little bit. So she decides while they're sleeping, she's going to go through their phones. Scared to go through his phone at first because she said, what if he's got, bunch of corn. I guess you gotta be careful with the YouTube verbs. I'm not monetized, so I don't think there's not much they can do. So she goes through Saki's phone first. She goes to her fake, they use fake terms for realistic things like YouTube and Twitter and Amazon. So I can't remember what their fake Twitter was called. And she finds out that Saki first was, private Twitter diary kind of thing, I guess not shared with the people. And at first she was mad at Nayo for this, and she was against her, but then she mentions how much she really likes Minase and thinks she's super cute and a very sweet girl. And then she goes to her browser history, and yeah, Saki's been one looking up the dirty stuff. All of her browser history is full of dirty stuff. While shocked by this, Nayu wakes up and catches her, and she's kind of freaking out, like. And then Saki wakes up and wants to, oh, did my phone go off? Did it wake you? What's going on? And she's getting ready to confess, and Nayu takes the blame, saying, she caught me going through your phone. I was just curious to see what you were into and stuff like that. And she's half asleep, but she knows what's on her phone, so she kind of freaks out and knocks him out again. And then goes back to sleep. But Nayu says, I get it. You're nervous. You just want to try and make a good impression. So you're just trying to, I understand what you were doing. So he kind of, the good guy that he is. Then we find out that while she's been training herself to be the perfect girlfriend for Nayu, she's been skipping school this whole time. So we have a little intereg where they try to catch her up on, see how bad she is doing in school, and try and catch her up for classes. We find out she's really kind of dumb. Then we have where she gets embarrassed by not being good at something, so she kept running and hiding in the bathroom. So we get a little toilet humor mixed in as well, because everyone thinks she's just taking a very bad bowel movement. So Saki says, "Hey, at school, this is a secret. We can't be telling people we're about like this." So she gets them both to agree that they have to keep their secret. Just ends up being that Minase is also in their same classroom, and that she's supposed to have been in their class this whole time. So they meet on the roof where, because they feel bad about this whole, because she's never been to school, so she has no friends. Everyone's kind of putting her off weird when she just showed up out of the blue. So they have this roof spot that they love to go. They love this rooftop spot. They go to it all the time. So obviously the school doesn't do a very good job of keeping people off the roof. And she finds, and it's where she says, "Hey, I'm okay with it. I know, I get it. I have to, this is what we have to do with school. I'll do it." Miss A is very understanding and very giving. And she goes, "Oh, I guess I should have thought this through, but here, I made you guys lunches." And they also start feeling really bad because she's super sweet and giving and everything. So and the food's also, and the lunches are amazing and stuff like that. So they make a decision. They have to find a spot that they're going to secretly meet and eat lunch together. So we have a little combo. So they get too loud on the roof, and someone hears them say they have to desert the roof. So they're running around trying to find a new spot. And Minase is like, "Why? I know some spots." So she keeps leading them to these bathrooms. All her private spots are bathrooms, which does not work for Zaki. She can't eat she's not going to eat in a bathroom stall. So they finally find their new spot, which is the gym equipment shed that they can sneak in through a window. And they kind of make themselves a little spot, and that's going to be their spot for where they're going to meet to eat their lunches together. So then we have an episode where Saki's starting to realize that where Saki's realizing she's not really contributing a lot to the relationship, and so she's trying to find ways to contribute. and it's just not going well. She can't find anything she's good at. She tries to cook, and it goes bad. This is where we also first get our first glimpse of a VTuber, the YouTube version there, that will come into play later. And she's the typical streamer. She's pretty much using her chest as to get clicks. But we'll talk more about her in a little bit. So, in a desperation attempt, Saki decides to try and make herself feel useful. She tries to seduce Nayo one night, to where he's still the good guy, and he rejects her because it wouldn't be fair to the other girl, which causes her to have a meltdown about everything, and she runs home, which just happens to be right next door. She lives right next door. So we have a whole scene of him trying to find ways to butter her up to come back. Pictures of kittens, gotcha pulls because she's a gamer. Nothing's working. He's not going to. He hasn't been sleeping for days trying to find out, to get her to come back to their home. To where Minase finally comes up with the idea and puts his hand on her boob, which causes her to freak out and pretty much jump across the window to the balcony to get at him for grabbing her boob, because she's still a jealous girlfriend. To which leads to a big chat with both of the girlfriends, like, yes, because he has a saying is he doesn't ask them to do anything because he wants to do everything to try and prove himself to them before the situation, and they finally come together and, like, we're your girlfriends. We need to do stuff too. We want to do stuff for you as well. So they have a nice moving spot of their relationship. Then the girls have a little bonding moment where they play video. She asks Minase to play her favorite video game because Minase supposedly has like 1,000 hours in the game. But as we find out, she puts a lot of time into things, but she's not very good at them. So she's literally getting killed left and right in the game. And when she finally gets a kill, it's her accidentally friendly firing Saki, killing Saki. But the girls bond over that a little bit. And then we start having more. Now the VTuber is starting to back in. They're watching her stream about the game, because they talk about watching the streamer so she can get good at the game. She's going to watch someone else play the game to learn tips. While looking at watching the streamer's clickbait thumbnail, they spot the school uniform laying on the floor in the background. Their school uniform laying on the floor in the background. And then the next day, it's MeToo, not VTube. MeToo, that she changed her thumbnail to the video is still the same, but she put a different picture on there because she realized that. So then, while they're in their secret spot, this blonde girl shows up and catches them all eating together. To which Nayu is not very good at keeping secrets, so he pretty much says that they're in they're a throuple. He's dating both of them. And it went him to keep her secret, and she's like, what am I get to? Why should I keep your secret? And that's when they out her. That's when Minase outs her for knowing who. He's like, hey, I know who you are. You're the MeTuber. You came here because you're trying to hide because you're afraid somebody may have saw your school uniform. So at the end of this, ends up getting. She's like, hey, you know what? I need a boyfriend, too. So you're going to be my boyfriend too. He turns and he goes, no, I'm turning you down. I already got 2 girlfriends. I can't do it. No more. So he has a line. He does have a line in the sand. 3 girlfriends for now. So this enrages her that she got rejected. So she will not give up. She does not plan on giving up. She tracks them. She tails them to their house because she overheard them say that they live together. And so she starts this whole little camping out in their backyard until they accept her. The girls getting worried that this big boobied MeTuber might worm her way into Naya, and that she might become the third girlfriend. Decide they need to do something, so they show up in their swimsuits to try and seduce Nayu themselves to make him forget all about her. Once again, our good guy here does not. He doesn't do it. Still doesn't buy into it. He appreciates the girls, and he gives them like a creepy stare down. At least I'm gonna say. Another comedy moment where one of them trips and falls and their boob lands in his face, which we get a lot of that in the show. But he does agree that yes, she needs to go. I don't want. I understand that you guys are worried about her, and we will get rid of her. So the next day, the girls are trying to decide what to do, and they believe the slow play is what's going to work. Do we just ignore her? She'll go away. Where she, well, then they see that she had to go run off to go use the restroom. So this is where Nayu makes his plan. This is our time. So he plans to have someone come and pick up all her camping gear, donate all her camping gear, and that way she has nothing all her stuff that she bought with all her Me Too money. And the girls at first were against the idea of doing that. Thought it was over the top before they finally like, you know what, we agree. You should do it. So while they're packing up the stuff, Nayu goes to intercept her to keep her from coming back, and she knows something's up, so she kind of gets past him to try gets back to where she tries to stop them from giving away all her stuff from Amazon. And I mean, she tries a couple different techniques. Nothing works. So he finally makes the plan that he will reimburse her for all the stuff, and she gives up some made up number saying it was cost a million yen, which he's like he agrees to pay. He'll pay it all to her as long as she stays away. So at first she agrees to that deal, but then she's starting to feel a little something. So she's like, no, I can't do. I don't care. I don't want the money back. I don't care about the money. She rips up the contract. She goes, I still am going to come after you. And that's when her dad shows up. We also have an error a continuity error, because at this point he refers to her as his only. At one point he refers to her as his only daughter, and a couple episodes later it's revealed she has, or by the end of the season she reveals she has a kid sister. Oopsie. So dad's like mad about her for not being home for several days, so he's demanding she comes home. Our boy here accidentally reveals about her Me Too page, which the dad didn't know about. So he looks it up, finds out that she's been doing some clickbait on the socials there, and so he's really upset about that too. So he's forcing her to go home, which the girls are kind of all wanting. But then Nayu starts stepping in and defending her a little bit. Our girls are getting a little worried that he's making some moves. She's like, they're seeing that she's they're seeing her make some faces that kind of make them worry. She's blushing a little bit. That's how he's defending her. So dad's going to, he stands up for her and says how good of all the hard work she's done, and everything like that. The dad threatens to delete her channel, which Naya steps in, grabs the phone away from him, and we can see at that moment that he stood up for her and said, "Oh, it's all our hard work," and she now has a crush on him. And the girls realize it right off the bat. Now that they're in trouble, she has fallen for him. So now they have to worry about her more. Then we have an episode where Saki goes home, and we meet her mom, who's very obsessed wanting to know why her and Nayu aren't hooking up yet. So she's trying to help them get it on, which leads to Saki cutting on a bunny girl outfit to tease Nayu. I mean, because well, first of all, he's like, I'm not. I told you I'm not going to do anything. I won't do anything. That's not fair to Minase. But she just wants attention from it. But she just wants him to be bad enough where he's about to lose control, so that she can know that so she can feel wanted. So in a glimpse, her top starts to fall off, and he catches it, but he also grabs her boobs, which gives her the happiness she was wanting. So she's now on cloud nine because he made a sexual move on her. I mean, she hits him, she punches him for it, and calls him a, you know, gooner. But she's all happy because that was what she was wanting. So the next day, she is on cloud nine. How happy, and Minase starts getting a little. What's going on? What's going on? Why is she so super happy? And she finds the bunny girl outfit in the laundry. She confronts Nayu about it, to where he does admit straight off the bat, it's like nothing happened. It's just just some cosplay fun, and it's like like, and she's like, did you like cosplay? And he's like, well, yeah, it was kind of cool. And she's like, I see, I see. And she just walks away, and then when she comes back, she's wearing a maid girl outfit. So she gets everything where Nayu Gilly gets into it, and he likes her calling him master. And so they have a moment where then they agree to that they're going to continue to. She'll do this like at least once a week. She'll dress up to be his maid and stuff like that. So now she's also on cloud nine because she's had her moment too. To the point where they're eating dinner later that night, and she slips up and calls him master, and causes both of the other. It's like he freaks out for a minute. He's like, nah, that's not what I heard. So then we go back to the school, and now we're back to Rika, who's waiting outside the classmates. She gets confronted by Saki and her friends. One of her friends, we have this one reoccurring character that always shows up in the background. She's going to start growing a little bit more from this point on. But then Naya confronts them, comes out and confronts them, and once again we see that she's fallen for him. She drags him to the roof. So they have a little conversation where he pretty much, once again is shooting her down. He's pretty much shooting her down again, telling her that he'll find her another boyfriend. And she ends up running back inside in tears. She breaks down in the hallway and says that she loves him. And Saki was there and overheard it. So now they know so she knows she's now a desperate. She's confirmed she's a threat. So they once again go back to that classroom again, and she's ready for him. And now we are certain that there's our fourth character here is Shinu. She's popped up. We've seen her in the background and sideground in several episodes, but now she's going to start showing up a little bit more and starting to talk a little bit more. And if you watch the opening and closing credits, you've seen that she's part of this. It's him and four girls, and it's always showing her. So, but to this point, she's always been just a background character. So in order to keep Rika away, though, Saki comes up with a plan that she is not going to leave Nayu's side, and she's going to stay with them, and so they're like cuddling pretty much the entire class. And then they have a problem where they have to go to PE, which means they need to change clothes. So they both run off and lock themselves in a room so they can change. And Saki's kind of worried about doing it in front of him. So he goes to leave, but she refuses. She doesn't want him to leave. She's afraid about the other girl getting a hold of him. To where we find out our good friend Minase has stepped in. We're going to find out Minase has a dark side. So she sent the picture of the thumbnail with the school uniform anonymously to Rika and told her to meet on the roof farm, sending this to everybody in the school. So she's using a little picture blackmail tactics, which we're going to find out is something she's very good at doing, to end up luring them away. And then feeling a little left out because she had to, watch them cuddle in class all day. They come out, he's like, well, you know what, I owe you some cuddle time too. So he goes to do it, and Saki's like, yeah, well, it's only fair that she gets some too. But she goes to leave, and he's like, no, you need to see this. So you need to be comfortable with it too. So he kind of makes her watch them do that, and they hug until pretty much Minase gets weak in the knees and falls over. So then we're back to Rika interfering with them once again, like she always keeps doing. And yeah, I don't remember that one. I'm trying to remember where that part was. So they're still concerned with her. And I forgot what this episode was. So more of the girls is pretty much. She's kind of pretty much as where they're kind of wanting Minase to open up more. Oh, yes, now I remember what it was. Okay, gotcha. So they have to come up with a plan on how to because he's starting to feel like he's starting to think that Rika actually does have a big crush on him. Because before, she's been after him, he kind of just thought she was that it wasn't a real thing, that she was just wanting a boyfriend. So he's starting to think that it's a real thing. So the girls have to come up with a plan to distract him from it. And so Saki said comes up with a plan that it's not real. She's just in heat. And the bigger the cleavage, the more the in heat problem is. Which obviously means that she needs Minase to go along with it, because Minase is a heavily endowed woman over Saki's big complex is she has small boobs. So he's like, I will help you when you have any of these problems every month. So she's kind of having to go along with this, even if she's like, this feels so bad. So the next day when Rika comes and tries to pull him to talk to him again, he shoots her down again, and then says he understands that that she has a problem. So they obviously go back to the roof again, where he pretty much says that I thought you had a crush on me, but I was like I that. So she's freaking out because she's figured out that she had a crush on him, until she says, "Wait a minute, what do you mean you were mistaken?" It was which he tells about the in heat stuff, and she gets off about like that's not real. So, but she still does not. So she doesn't give her confession. So they feel that let go. That he still doesn't think. That he bought the whole in heat thing. But she goes right back to the classroom and does confess that she likes him. That he wants her. She wants that she has a crush on him, and she wants his boyfriend. Which causes everyone to go running off again, and now we're starting to see that Shinu is starting to see that something's going on, and she's trying to figure it out. So we're back to our popular spot where they're confronting each other. So he's still trying to turn her down, and Riku Base Note desperately moves in and kisses him. His first kiss. She's the first one to get to kiss him, and the other two girls are floored because that she just stole the first kiss with her boyfriend. And then as everybody leaves the room, Shimu over here is spying and starting to put together that her best friend is being two times. Then we have the girls everyone sitting together trying to unpack the kiss. He offers to kiss them both right then and there, which they both shut down because like no, that's not how we want it. We want a romantic kiss. We don't want it to just be because you're trying to make it right after this other girl kissed you. It's like so both the girls kind of pretty much say what they want their first kiss to be. So they come up with the plan of taking a trip, a romantic getaway together to just, get away from everything just so they can, bond more. So we see where Shimu tries to confront him, but gets uh just but Saki pulls him away and is like, oh well, you can talk to him later. So she's trying to make her moves, like trying to figure it out. The girls go on a shopping trip because it's supposed to be a chill trip. They both, so they agreed to a chill trip, and we get some backstory. And well, Minase's talking about like this could be my chance to get a kiss. So she goes to reach for some breath mints, and Saki also reaches. It just shows up to be right there at the same time, and also reaching for the breath mints. And the girls pretty much like, okay, yeah, we're both his girlfriends, and we both see this as a chance for us to have our moment. And Saki was kind of, mentioned I was trying to like, I was hoping you'd back down with, with what I said. So, and Minase pretty much says, well, you know what? Yes, you've been very understanding everything, and you're right. You should be his first kiss. So this weekend should be your weekend. So she agrees to help make this weekend special for Saki, which involves her. She's gonna buy an ugly outfit to make herself look bad on purpose, and then she picks out an outfit for Saki, which is a over the top mini skirt and sexy little outfit. Saki's like, this is totally tacky. So when they're leaving the store, Rika has been tailing them, and she overhears that they're taking this trip to the hot springs. So now she plans to ambush them on their trip. Then we also have Shimu calls Saki and gets the detail. Also gets her to reveal the details of where they're going for the trip, and now she also has the plan to confront them on the trip. So we have two onlookers on their way in. So the trip day comes, and since they're out of town and where they're going seems to have Vegas rules, or it's where it happens there stays there. He decides that he wants to bond with them both, so he's going to hold both of their hands. It's for physical affection. The girls are kind of freaking out because everyone's staring at them. And as they get close to the hotel, Naya hears a couple over talking about taking advantage of the situation of the hot springs. And he remembers what Saki said on the train about the hot springs as a wingman and taking advantage of the situation. So he's like, wait a minute, are you planning on doing something here? So a little funny confrontation there where she says, no. Well, I mean, if it does, I'm not against it. But when they get to their spot, boom, out pops Rika waiting for them. So surprise number one. And then from behind comes surprise number two. So he's confronted with the other girl, and then there's the schoolgirl that they don't want to know their secret. So to cover it up, Minase grabs Rika and says, hey, let's go together. Just go along with this, or I'm going to send this picture to everybody. He's using her blackmail tactics again. And she goes, oh, we just came together as friends, and we just happened to run into Saki. So that's all the reason we're here. So she goes running off with her, and she texts him that she'll just hang out. She'll keep, stay with Rika the whole time and keep her away from everybody so that Nayu and Saki can have a good weekend together, which Nayu can't take. He doesn't believe that's fair. So he goes across the rooftops to help sneak Minase into their hotel. And he shows up on her and Rika when they're in the outdoor hot bath naked. So it leads to a interaction where he's trying to get him to come with her, and she's like, I'm naked, you douche. and she's trying to keep her promise to Saki Saki to make it Saki Saki. So the reaction doesn't go the way he's planning. So she like runs inside, locks the door, and refuses to come out and see him. Then the next episode begins. We see a little Shima talking about how she's going to put an end to all of this. She knows something's going on and she's going to end it. But then we cut back to where he was locked out, and then that's where Rika makes her move. So she throws him into the tub of water, and she comes on. She first comes on, starts coming on super strong and trying to seduce him. But then when he's into something sexual, she kind of backstabs. Well, I'm not trying to do that. So she has a moral. She does have a moral code. As he goes to leave, though, she begs him to at least, can we just have a conversation as friends, a friendly conversation? So we start to see a more human side of her, that she's does have, a softer side. So he agrees to a 5-minute conversation to where she's trying to, find out his interests, his likes, his dislikes, and stuff like that, and kind of find out that she is still, like I said, she's being more human here, but she is still shallow. Like her favorite things are her YouTube channel and her favorite topics and her. This is where she also reveals she has a kid sister that was somehow disappeared in the last couple episodes. So when he asks what his plans for his dreams for the future is, he pretty much says it's to make his two girlfriends happy. But he never thinks about it, but that's what his goal is. So the time runs out, and so she says, "Well, you thank you, and you may leave now." And then we have another episode where her towel accidentally slips off, and he sees her naked, which causes her to freak out. And then when he's trying to hurry up away, he's running across the roof. He slips and falls, and he lands in the women's hot spring. Just happens to be when Shinu is planning on using the hot spring. So and we have another. So this whole episode is funny sexual comedy here. So he falls on her. At first, she's like going off on him because he goes, "Wait a minute! Since I got you here," she goes up and ties her towel around her, and then she starts confronting him about what he's doing, what's going on. Is he two timing? And he won't answer the question. But then she starts going into all the things that reason why two timing is bad. It's you can't get married. You can't do taxes, and it's against the law, and all the problems it would cause with the girls. To which he's trying to make excuses for it, like, well, I that's something I can work on, and I didn't know about that either. She goes, "Wait a minute, did you just admit that you are two timing then?" So he tries to hurry up and run over the fence, climb over the fence, and she's grabbing him by his pants and trying to pull him back in. She's like, "No, you're not getting away from me." He goes, "What's up with this other girl? Are you three timer?" And he comes out right off. Like, "I will not do that. I am not a three timer." He goes, "Oh, that one you have no problem denying." So she's she's trying to keep him from escaping. Her towel's starting to fall off. But she's too invested. She won't let him leave. So she ends up pulling him backwards, and he falls off the fence, and his pants fall down. Her towel falls off, and they end up on top of each other. And while she's still like locked into her position of confronting him, so she's going at it. And that's when the other two girls show up and catch them and think that there's something sexual going on once again. And then our little blackmailer goes at it again. She starts taking pictures of them and says, "Hey, I'm going to pass this picture around if you keep attacking us over this." Which causes Shinu to take off, and they find out, and the girls see that he had his underwear on the whole time. And so they realize that, okay, yeah, nothing happened there, but he was not physically doing something. So this leads to another confrontation between him and Minase, to which she's like gets revealed that she's made a promise with Saki Saki, and she's doing all this for stuff like that. And some other girls kind of catch him there. So he ends up getting uppercutted by Saki Saki over the fence into the men's bath. And then she confronts Minase, who decides, all right, well, let me tell you, okay, let me tell you something that I don't want no one else to know. So they go sit in the tub, and we get Minase's backstory. She was this plain nobody kid that was terrible. She's talking about she couldn't find anything she was good at. She was terrible at. Ironically enough, one of the things she says she was terrible at was cooking, which obviously she worked hard enough on that to be good at it. But she tried music, she tried anime, she tried video games, put 1,000 more hours. She and studying, and if she put more time in it than anyone else, and it still at best she would only become average at it. So she was not good at anything. And then after she was going to school for the high school placement test, and she overhears two people talking about being worried about the test, and it's Saki and Nayo, and that's when she sees him. So like after talking about studying, he professes his love to her, and she rejects him. And he keeps trying to do stuff about it, and she keeps getting on him about it. She's like, "Wow, this guy is persistent, man. He's just getting shut down. And he's not. He keeps trying." So they take their test, and she keeps thinking about the guys. Like, wow, what kind of guy is that persistent? And then she sees them again arguing about him proposing again. And this time she hears Shinu and another girl talking about how he does it every month, and since they were childhood friends, and he's been doing it every month for years. And she shuts him, she rejects him, but he doesn't quit. And she's admired by that. It's like, wow, what kind of person just doesn't give up like that? He just the perseverance, and she's becoming enamored with him with everything. So then she goes to see that the test results are posted on the board, and she made it into a class, and she's wondering, I wonder if he did too. And boom, there they are again, and they do the same thing again. And this time he kind of catches her looking at him, and it freaks her out, and she goes running, and she hides, and she kind of like, well, why did I freak me out? It's like, I guess he is the only thing I've been thinking about. It's like, so that's where she realizes she has feelings for him. And she's like, well, what would he do? He would never give up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm never going to give up. So we have a montage of her getting in shape, her learning to cook, because she learns the easy way to a man's heart is through his stomach. She's improving her looks, and she goes from that to that. So she improves herself for him. All the work she put into herself was for him. And because they didn't think about this, he was still in the men's bath after he got punched over it, and he heard the whole thing. So as soon as she's like, "Well, I was just, okay, that stays here. No one else, don't talk about it. I don't want him to know about it. It's embarrassing." And he's waiting for them when they walk out, and he confronts her about it, which freaks her out. And we get a nice running montage as she starts running away from everything because she's doesn't want to give in to like it's supposed to be Saki's time, and she doesn't want to intrude. So he goes running after her, and Saki goes running after them. Then we see that Shinu and Riko run into each other in the hallway, and Shinu's confronting her when they all go running by, and they all run right past them. So now they're also chasing after everybody. So we have this whole big running thing where they're running, and Minase is like, "That's all right. I am okay with being number two." I was like, Saki comes first, and she can end this whole thing, and I don't want her to end everything because she can say no more, and I lose you. So her needs come first. And Naya's like, "No, that's not fair. You guys are equals. I don't see you that way." So everyone else gets tired out, but Nayu and her, and they end up. He ends up finally catching her and saying that she needs to start being more honest, that she needs to express her feelings more. He goes, let him worry about the problems. If there's a problem with Saki, he'll worry about it, and he'll take care of it. And she needs to see herself as a main as his main what also consider herself his main girlfriend. He loves them both, and they're both his number ones. So he pretty much so he pretty much just telling her like you need to stand up for yourself more. So finally the other girls get all take a cab and they all catch up, and she knows like, okay, what the hell's going on? So Minase starts to make an excuse. He goes, you know what? No, I'm going to trust you. I trust you, Nayu. I believe in you. She leans over and she gives him a peck on the cheek and confesses that she is his girlfriend. So which Sheena's like, well, Saki, what is that? And she goes, well, yeah, you know what? It's out of the bag. Yep, we're both his girlfriends. So she also tells her friend that it's true, and then they all take off. They all pretty much take off running. And then we see a little montage where they get to finally have their romantic weekend together, all three of them together doing stuff, taking pictures, eating, all that stuff. So they, no one gets kissed. Well, he gets kissed on the cheek by her, but Sakizaki does not get her kissed. It doesn't, so that part does not come in handy because both girls are get to have equal time with him. When we go back to school, we start off with a confrontation at Shinu's house, to where she is confronting them about this plan. Now, the dumbness of it and everything, how it's not going to work out. Now that, and he says, I've the things you gave me, you have opened my eyes about some of the problems that we could endure, and I am working on ways to work those out. One of which was when she mentioned what about her people telling the parents, and he's like showing that he's texting Saki's parent mom, and he plans to reveal everything, which Saki says, "No, you're not." Steals the phone from him, but he also confronts Shimu and says, "You're her best friend, and I will make you also believe that I love them both equally and that I'm on board with this." He also admits that Saki also was one of the people that agreed to it, and this is when we start to see a little something. So when he's saying that's important for him to get Shinu on board with him, that since he knows that she's Saki's best friend, and it's important, and she's important to her, which means she's important to him, and her accepting them is very important. And you kind of get this little thing that there's Shinu's very moved by his words there, and then they all kind of leave, and she kind of gets this whole thing. Well, she can't let this go on. He's supposed to be Saki's boyfriend. So, but we kind of get, okay, wait, there's more to the Shino story than we've been seeing so far. So we go back. So the next day we're at our favorite little eating spot. Rika first jumps in and interrupts them, and they're all kind of trying to fight to cuddle with Nayu, and then Shinu also comes in and catches them all together and starts accusing them of a three timing, in which he always I'm not a three timer. I draw the line, and that's where our first season kind of ends at that. So, like I said, it's a romantic sitcom. It's full of etchy, sexual innuendo comedy. I personally, for me, I loved it. Do like all of our characters. So yeah, so definitely wait around. We will have a season 2 breakdown shortly. Hopefully, maybe I'll try and get it out within a week. But I was really bummed that this show did not get any more seasons, and that the manga was very short. Actually, this is like I said, there was no third season, and the manga wraps up. And I mean, a lot of people said there wasn't enough stuff in the rest of the manga for there to be a third season. I see where I think the quintessential quintuplets made the mistake of doing a movie third season instead of a show when there's so much stuff that they kind of glossed over, and it could have stretched out a lot of that stuff into a third season. I think this one, from what I could have probably had a movie wrap up with the third season, because what was left in the manga, I mean, was just some more interlude things that and then a big giant final confrontation thing that we'll talk about in that episode. Got to keep you waiting for more. But I really totally love this. This was Christmas was hooked me hard. This show also pretty much hooked me hard because it was ridiculous comedy, just over the top fun stuff. So I totally love the show. I really love the show. I thought the show was really good. So it's up there as one of my definitely is one of the favorite things I've watched so far. But we will discuss it more later and with season 2. So make sure to like and subscribe. Once again, feel free to recommend any other animes for a new, older anime for guy who's only been watching anime for half a year now, and only was started off light, only been heavy since November, really. Until then, Cachorro out.